Man, the trolls are going slow today. Really? They're just flying through here like it's nothing. We got 8 of y'all here. How we doing? So we're just waiting for the phone to turn on. But I figured to meet that, we're gonna sit back and chit-chat, have a good time. We can look up these trucks here. I think they're so cool. You got these aftermarket radios on, diesels. Well, I got the 7.3s in there. Out there doing their driving around. So it is what it is. Choose. So what's going on? Everybody, let's talk. Talk. I know everybody's probably going around talking about the Ashley Babbitt. Yes, but the case, things are still being worked on that. That's all the information that I know on that part. It's still being worked on. I'm glad that, at least it's there, but until it's finalized, but still, I think Michael Byrne needs to be charged. It needs to be charged. It needs to be an eye for an eye. I mean, it should be the same way. But nothing's probably gonna happen. There's 11 of y'all here and 0 likes. We had 1, but the libtard decided to take away from me. They don't love me. They don't love me. They just love color being nosy. 3 all the time. Oh, we lost a couple. Oh, we got 1 back, 1 like. You guys are just gonna take it back, so I don't know why you guys give me 1, take it away. Just take the 1 and go shove it where it doesn't shine, kids. Because really, you guys don't make any sense there. Don't be Indian givers. I don't know what you guys got to do. I think that really just bugs me. Do you guys ever see me get all pissed off? I don't. I mean, I say it, but I sure really don't care. David. Because if I want a true patriot to give it to me the likes, not some fake ones like you guys are. You guys are not. You're not true patriots. You guys are not. The libtards are definitely not. They like the government control. They don't love freedom. You libtards love their poop dicks. I like this here. We're gonna watch a show. I'm gonna watch on the YouTube in the meantime. Until we get some pictures on here and start talking. That's what we're gonna do. Right now I'm waiting for it to load. Why are they? They figured they'll leave and come back. Hello, how you doing? How you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't seen you in a long time. No one is being a crybaby, liftars. Okay? So just get over it. How's things go with you? We gotta get the wait for the load here. But you know, can help with technology. YouTube sucks. I'll say it every day. How's the weather and gas prices there? Yeah, okay, so come on, people, start talking more. I mean, right now we're waiting for the video to start up here, and we're gonna help it out and get it all going. I mean, I don't understand why you lifters think that making a channel here so cool, you know? Make it a fake channel and just come here. Oh boy. Alright. Lifters gotta go home and cry to mama. Alright, let's get this going. They might play. Taking forever to load here.
You or a loved one admitted to an Illinois behavioral health facility? A global settlement may be coming in 2025. These facilities allegedly failed to protect vulnerable patients from abuse for decades, putting their safety at risk. And now landmark lawsuits are forcing them to pay victims of sexual abuse.
There's a lot of foreign drivers. My English isn't very good, however, even though I'm just doing. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to all speak English.
Mi gente está escuchando el DJ Ecus. Te lo recomienda el grupo.
Oh, we got more lifters here?
As well as other checkpoints, and make sure that they know what our street signs say. So in this video, I'm going to try to speak to these truck drivers and test their English skills. Please make sure that you are subscribed. Oh, where are you from? Bosnia.
Yeah.
Wow, and how long have you been living in the U.S.?
Yes.
35.
All right, you have a good
How long have
night.
you been a truck driver?
15 years.
15.
God
What's your
bless
name?
you.
Mohammed.
Mohammed, nice to meet you. Trump was signing an executive order that is going to make people prove their proficiency in English. What do you think about that?
Bullshit. That's the bullshit. All this stuff is bullshit.
He said all of this stuff is BS. He's from Bosnia. What state are you from?
Texas.
What kind of stuff do you ship or truck?
Anything and everything, so long as it's not illegal.
That's cool. Trump administration, they just signed an executive order to make it so people have to be proficient in English.
Correct.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
What do you think about that?
No, I totally agree.
In your experience, is there a lot of people who haven't been speaking English correctly?
Most of them don't even speak English at all.
Really? What languages do they speak?
I have to say probably Hindu or
Really?
Spanish or something.
Oh, that's
There's
interesting.
a few that are all like South American, I guess.
And so you think that'll be a safe and good change?
It needs to be. It's hard to operate out here. You can't be speaking right. Oh, I've been doing it for 13 years. I enjoy it. I got microwave and
Because it's such an important job.
the only way to keep America going.
So far, that last guy thinks that it's a really good idea to have these English tests for the safety of all people on the roads. How are you?
Well, thank you.
Good. So how's the truck doing?
A bit.
I was just wondering what it's like being a trucker.
Sorry, my English isn't very good. I do not understand.
Oh, what's your name?
Well,
Pavel?
yes.
How's your name? How do you say your name?
Last name?
No, just I didn't understand how you pronounce it.
My name is Pavel.
Pavel.
Paul in English.
Pavel.
In
Oh,
English
Paul.
in USA, Paul.
Paul, I see. Okay. And how do you like being a truck driver?
How much?
Is it good? Is it bad?
Yes.
2 years?
Yes.
That's cool. Is it easy or is it hard?
Middle.
Really? How is your communication with the other drivers?
To middle.
Yeah. Do you speak on the walkie-talkie?
If have problem, yes, I use translator.
Oh, okay.
But my work, truck, fuel, and another, it's every day. I know this.
Yeah. What kind of problems?
But another, where I need no many words, maybe
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. What country are you from?
Country,
Yeah.
Russia.
Oh, okay. How long have you been in the U.S.?
How many years in the USA?
Yeah.
2 years and a half.
Oh, okay. Are you able to read in English or is it hard?
I have 3 levels.
Oh, okay.
In college, after tasting,
Yeah.
I have 3 levels.
Do you live in your truck or what state do you live in?
Living,
Yeah, what state do you live in?
what sea?
Like what city do you live in? Do you live in Texas, California?
What state?
Yeah.
Sorry. State Washington.
Oh, wow. That's a long drive.
It isn't Denver, it isn't very long. Long is east, and New York, Washington, D.C.,
Oh, okay.
Texas.
Texas, yeah. I see.
It's long. It isn't very long.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I won't say English. I won't say.
Yeah.
But when I not understand, translate work from English to Russian. I understand what I must speak English.
Driving so far across borders, do they stop that?
Passport, no. I haven't problem with inspection.
Oh, okay.
You talk about inspection?
Yeah.
Not. They asked me, do you have ID? Do you have work authorization? I haven't problem, but I know this problem maybe isn't good time. Another president, it's hard.
Because I just heard that now they're going to make people do a test for English. Do you think that you would pass the test or that you'd have to study a little bit?
I need translate very many words.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Drive safe.
And have you good evening.
You too. Thanks. I was just wondering if you heard about the new executive order where truck drivers are going to have to take an English test.
No, but I hope we can.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have a hard time communicating with people sometimes? That's a nice truck.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
Nebraska.
Nice. And how's the drive?
Good.
Good?
Pretty windy today.
Sorry, so I was just wondering if, like, how's your experience communicating with the other truck drivers?
You don't communicate a whole lot anymore.
Oh, really?
I
What's the difference or what changed?
cell phones, probably. Nobody talks on TV anymore.
Because I heard that they're making a rule now that truck drivers have to be proficient in English. What do you think about that?
That's a good idea.
Really?
Guys who can't talk English.
Yeah.
They can't read. A lot of them because they follow the GPS. They read the map.
Do you have to read like a paper map?
It's a good idea. GPS will lead you astray.
Really?
Yeah, you have to know where you're going.
Wow.
Just because GPS says you can go down that road doesn't mean you can. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to all speak. You can speak any English. They stop for construction. Still 5 people, I think.
And how come you think that they're hiring them just cheaper? Or?
Government, some of these immigrants, the governments are paying the bill for them. They're paying their fuel bill. They're buying them trucks, I think.
And so you have to buy your own fuel?
Yeah, and the government's paying everything for them, and they're all in cheap freight and driving rates down. How do you compete with that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
English laws, but
How do you like being a truck driver?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like seat comfort.
Good. You do good work. We need people like you.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm making a video about truck drivers. I was just wondering if you like the job and what's it like.
It's all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's strapped. It's getting more busier, you know what I mean? More people are coming in. That's just about it.
Throughout the whole country or here in Colorado?
Just here in Colorado, though.
Yeah, for sure. We've been growing like crazy.
Right.
Yeah. And so you're from Colorado?
Yeah.
How important is it for truck drivers to be able to speak English, do you think?
I don't think it matters, you know what I mean? But just when you're going inside the dispatch, you know what I'm saying? That's the indication there.
Oh.
And then probably, gotta know how to read the signs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's dispatch?
That's when you go into a different facility. Like, say I go inside to Bimbo, I gotta talk to somebody. Somebody that's in charge of the trucks and stuff like that.
I see.
People are in charge of the trucks.
And like gas prices, maintenance for the truck, how is all the costs in general?
I don't need.
Oh, okay. And what about tariffs? Do you think that that'll affect the supply chain and like the amount of work for truckers in our country?
Same thing. That's all about your company, you know what I'm saying? Things go up, you get paid more, you know what I mean?
And how is the pay for a truck driver?
Just depends who you work for, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Everybody's different.
Are you a tow truck for trucks?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And so you only tow semi-trucks?
Anything medium or heavy duty, yeah.
Wow. When people call you, are most truck drivers, are they American or have you met a lot of foreign people?
There's a lot of foreign drivers.
Really?
Yes.
And how good would you say they're?
Especially Middle Eastern and Russian out here, big time. Like most of what we tow are Russian people. I mean, it's almost impossible to speak it.
It sounds like they might have more truck problems, and that's why they're needing to get towed more.
Yeah, because they buy the cheapest trucks possible that are, halfway broke down already. So when they tow them.
And why do you think it's important for them to be able to speak English or know the culture?
I mean, the biggest issue is that accident that happened 4 or 5 years ago over on I-70. The driver came down the mountain, didn't really know what he was doing at all. came from a different country and lost his brakes and killed multiple people in I-70. So there were plenty of signs for him to slow down or hit some, basically go off the road without killing people. I don't know. It could have been prevented if
Yeah.
people with some brand English.
When was he? Do you know where he was from? I have to look into that.
Well, he was from somewhere like Ecuador or something. I could be mistaken on that one, but he got his license out of Texas.
Whoa. And so it sounds like they might just be giving people licenses without having them pass tests.
Oh yeah, I've heard of schools basically. You pay them the money, X amount of money, and
I'm getting right now is these truck drivers are very aware that in their industry there's many people who speak Russian. Incidents have happened because of this, that people are getting their driver's license, and you can't just have whatever kind of driver's license. You need to have special training to be able to drive these trucks, but they're just giving it to them if they pay them a fee. And so that is a really corrupt system, and I'm glad that Trump has his eye on it and he's shutting it down, because people's lives are in danger. Parents drive their kids to school on the highways every single morning. People commute to work. There's so many families on the road that we need to keep safe, and these truck drivers know that. We just spoke to a guy here who didn't want to be on camera at all, but he said, I'll tell you everything. He said, right now the rates are so low. One time he tried to negotiate getting paid $3, and they said, no, we're only going to do one because we have people all over the world who want this job, so there's so much demand. So he was telling me that he's not sure where these low rates are coming from, if it's coming from the politicians and some type of game that they're playing. He's very disappointed. He has been doing this for years. He also told us that sometimes when he is parked, that there are so many foreigners in the industry that they will come and knock on his door and ask him to back up their truck because they don't know how. And he says, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to help you guys. And they're like, please, we're running out of time. I'll pay you $50. And he still says no. And then I asked him what he thinks of Donald Trump, and he says that he doesn't know who is who anymore. He doesn't really trust politicians. And he also said that it is so important that you always have two hands on the wheel. And when we were speaking to this Russian guy, communication in real time, which is incredibly dangerous. This guy says if you take your eyes off the road or one hand off the wheel for just 1 second, your life and the life of many other people could be in severe danger. And so that is no good. People need to be able to speak English so that they can communicate while keeping their hands and their eyes on the road. This guy also made me realize the importance of correct training, because he says that too many people treat them like they are just normal everyday cars, and they see an 80 miles per hour speed limit sign, and so they think that they can go 80, but really they can't, because many of these trucks carry 80,000 pounds on the back, which is a tremendous amount, and they need to slow down. And so even if they're able to read the signs or understand the number, there's a lot more training that goes into this, and I find it pretty despicable that people were getting their license without the proper training or certification. What's it like being a truck driver?
Are we on TV?
And, did the trucking industry change after COVID?
We didn't.
Really?
We were all still working. Everybody else stayed home because we're listening to the Communist Party. That's what's dividing this nation right now. So what they're doing, like Hitler and Stalin did, is something like COVID-19. They found the fear of the people. Well, they did. But the truck drivers kept on going. I was driving all over the road.
Wow.
And then I got off and ended up getting a local job. COVID didn't change it or nothing. Really want to know.
It's always been that way?
Yeah, but there's people out here that seem to really love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why. They're afraid to admit they screwed up in life. Serious.
That's kind of sad. How do you think tariffs are going to affect the industry?
No different than any other time.
Okay.
And don't worry about the tariffs. What you got to realize is all our enemies and our allies have had tariffs on us for decades and decades. So for these wimps in office that don't want to try to even the score like Donald Trump's doing, they're afraid of Donald Trump. Let Donald Trump give them all tariffs. Then they're going to start wheeling and dealing. You got to get them not to screw you, but to work with you and make things reasonable.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense. Recently, Trump is he's signing an executive order to make it so that truck drivers need to be proficient in English. What do you think about that?
I think it should be, yeah. This is America. This was founded by English, actually. And this guy's going to hit them. Yep.
He's foreign.
He could have swung out a little more before coming in.
Would you pretty please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel? Thanks for watching. Bye.
Yeah. What is going on? Let's get to the other one. Who's out here? Come on, talk away. Don't be scared, lifters. You remind me of Daddy will come back here later on and talk to y'all. Do you guys miss Jericho? Do you guys want to talk to Jericho so badly? We can probably get him on here if we call him. You guys want to call Jericho, have him come talk to you guys?
Trump is now in his first month in office, and we want to know how you think he's doing as president. You guys know how I think he's doing, but
We know the Democrats. Okay, come on. You two freeze up right away. Come on.
President Trump was walking around with an Easter bunny, and the chat was just going crazy, wondering who's inside of the bunny outfit. You are a very powerful senator. Do you have any idea who's in the bunny outfit today? I just got to start with that.
Well, Betty, I do not. I hope you and your listeners had a great and happy Easter.
Okay. Is it Kash Patel? Is this going to be, until you get full, do you think it's Kash Patel?
I would say this is pretty low on my priority list in terms of getting information out of this administration.
Who's playing the bunny? Okay. We look forward to disclosures on that. You are fighting right now for disclosures about January 6th and undercover FBI agents inside of the heard absolutely nothing except for lies from Christopher Wray. You have a brand new article up here from Fox News talking about your ongoing. I don't think you can call it a fight now because now the FBI is cooperating. Correct?
Correct. Under this administration, it'll still be a tough slog. The deep state and people within these agencies and departments, they don't give up the secrets of the deep state very easily, no matter who's in charge.
Yes. So, can you explain what you are pressing right now, the DOJ? Inspector General on, and what you are looking for with this untasked undercover agents. Can you unpack that for us?
Well, again, what happens with government disclosure is it's always limited hangouts, modified limited hangouts. They'll give you some truth. They may give you lies, but they never share the whole story. And so we do know that there were individuals that were affiliated, confidential human sources, people that worked with the FBI, not necessarily for them in the crowd. But the Inspector General report only talked about them and didn't open up its aperture and talk about other potential federal agents that might have also been in the crowd tasked to do specific things. So again, we just simply don't know. But again, this is a hallmark. What I have learned over the last few years in particular, and I think COVID really opened up my eyes, is the extent to which the federal government withholds information, covers things up, lies outright to the American for decades. I mean, you can go back to the JFK assassination, the Warren Commission, RFK, MLK assassinations, Gulf of Tonkin. I mean, there's a long list of things the federal government has just outright lied to us about. We have no idea everything they are covering up. And it's just becoming more and more obvious as they continue to lie and cover things up.
I think that there's some hope, however, potentially on the horizon, because while they were able to get away with murdering the president on camera in the 1960s, there are far more questions that get asked in a much speedier process, and I think people are more aware, Senator. Like the January 6th pipe bomber story. This is, of course, tertiary to January 6th. This is the one guy that did actually commit an act of terrorism on that day. It's somebody who, according to FBI whistleblowers who's been on the show, the FBI knows exactly who this person was. They were on the task force, set out to find this person. They have identities, they have DNA, they have but corrupted information from the FBI about the January 6th pipe bomber. Do you think we'll ever know the identity of this person?
I don't. We're told though that AT&T and these other mobile carriers all of a sudden, or one of them had corrupted data, so they can't track cell phone in terms of where those geo locations are. Again, there's so many things just utterly suspicious. You look at the video, but you're right. In the 60s, we had one Zapruder film,
yes,
capturing JFK assassination. Now we have literally, for example, thousands of recordings of what happened in July 13th in Pennsylvania, in Butler, that assassination attempt. So it's getting more and more difficult to hide things. Again, it's not that the federal government doesn't attempt to hide things, but it's more difficult for them to get away with doing it. Now, it's still hard to get to the bottom answers. People who do wrong things, that commit crimes, they try and cover things up. And when you have the power of the federal government, you've got a lot of power to cover things up.
So you believe that this is a federal cover-up with the pipe bomber? Is that your conclusion?
Oh, I think all of January 6th, I think it's a massive cover-up of exactly what happened. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface of exactly what happened on January 6th. I mean, the lack of security around the Capitol. We had more security. There was more of a game plan. We were briefed more on the Brett Kavanaugh hearings than we were for that inauguration or for that day, when we knew there were going to be tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people protesting the election. So why weren't we prepared? Why weren't there, why wasn't there visible law enforcement on the West Capitol? They had bicycle racks, but they didn't have a visible police presence. I mean, it's absurd what happened. And then it's even more absurd what happened afterwards in terms of the Biden administration basically accusing half of America being potential domestic terrorism, the trampling of people's constitutional rights through speedy trial. Again, there's so much that went wrong with January 6th and surrounding it that I think is just being covered up.
Yeah, these Americans were deprived of due process. Many of them languished in prisons for a long time in this country. Democrats are demanding that foreign terrorists who have no right to be here get every single one of them a trial inside of our court system and the right to appeal before they are deported. You'll lose your country in one generation if you do that to the tens of millions of criminal aliens that are brought in to this country. What's your response to that Supreme Court ruling late in the small hours of the morning over the weekend?
Which one was that?
When they said that the Alien Enemies Act, the Supreme Court ruling that they can't be, criminal aliens can't be deported via the Alien Enemies Act.
Right. Again, I don't know the specifics of the ruling. Hold in place until this thing can work its way through the courts. I mean, our judicial system, the wheels of justice turn very slowly. But I completely agree with the fact that Tom Homan said Democrats could have cared less to vet the millions of people the Biden administration and their policies allowed in this country. Now they want to vet every one of the criminals and potential terrorists that President Trump and Tom Homan are trying to deport.
Glaring. We covered on Friday, and I wanted to get your thought on this because you're the king of oversight. I know there's a crown that goes between you and Chuck Grassley, and we really respect your work, and we do our very best to support it. It was really nice to see this, because what people are looking for, Senator, is like a bright spot. And I know that everyone needs to be patient, but there's been so much that the country's been through. And the redoing of COVID.org was really refreshing for this audience because they placed the blame directly at the feet of Dr. Fauci. And it seemed like potentially it even included the Fauci pardon at the bottom, saying that he's effectively a criminal in how he covered up COVID. I know this is an issue that's near and dear to you. will we ever see, what levels of accountability will we ever see for this?
Well, if I had my way, a lot of accountability, which starts with exposure. Again, I've been less interested in the COVID origins because I think it's been obvious since early in 2020 that this was man-made, probably released from a lab in Wuhan, and also because they gave the Chinese so much running room that the definitive evidence is probably be lost for history. So I've been less concerned about that than wondering why didn't we treat COVID? What happened in terms of the sabotage of early treatment, and why have we completely been covering up injuries? So, my tweet after the White House acknowledged that this was probably a lab leak was, okay, that's great, acknowledging something that I think has been obvious for years. Next step is start acknowledging the fact that these COVID injections injured a lot of people, destroyed their lives, killed people, acknowledging that fact so these individuals can be helped, so they can be treated.
What can we expect? Here's the post that you made right here. Next, for some type of disclosure, some type of arrest, some type of revelation, you're at the center of the center when it comes to government oversight. Again, the crown is passing from Chuck Grassley to you for the king of oversight. Can you give our audience a little bit of an insight into what's being worked on right now?
Well, unfortunately, I think you can expect that a lot of documents were destroyed. It was my staff that uncovered the needle in the haystack with David Morins, or Dr. Morins, saying how he worked with a FOIA individual to avoid providing information under Freedom of Information Act. We sent out a letter now to Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and the Office of Inspector General of HHS because Tom Shimabukuro, the individual within the CDC that was supposed to be watching over the safety surveillance systems, it was touting how wonderful theirs is going to be before they started trashing it. In response to our subpoena, HHS can't find any of the communication responsive to our request from Tom Shimabukuro. So we referred that to the FBI and Justice Department. So my guess is this is one CDC individual that's probably destroyed an awful lot of his communications, awful lot of records. So again, it's not going to be automatic. As much as I know, RFK Jr. is dedicated to radical transparency, I can pretty well guarantee that the people that are within these agencies, a lot of them are going to cover their tracks and cover things up and destroy a lot of evidence. So that's going to be frustrating for investigators like myself. It's going to be very frustrating for the American public because this is their information. They deserve the truth. It's been hidden from them way too long. But again, that's just in one area. I think it's interesting. I've been following you. You're starting to open up the aperture on 9/11, World Trade Center number 7. What the firefighters are telling us. I think that's something that needs to be explored as well. And I know you and I are both considered conspiracy theorists, but that's exactly how they keep this stuff covered up, is they accuse those of us who want to expose the truth that we're just a bunch of conspiracy theorists.
Well, members of Congress are now coming forward on Tucker's show and saying, hey, they completely attacked my family and destroyed my career because I questioned the official story of September 11th, and none of it makes sense. And so the only way to find the truth is to ask the right questions. And this is the single most consequential moment in America. America changed forever, not for the better, after September 11th. And it's worth understanding what truly happened, just like on January 6th, to try and find the truth. You have to be able to ask the right questions. You go back to the firefighters. Every firefighter inside of those buildings was saying, including Donald Trump, was saying that this official narrative cannot be true. And so, we hope that there's some disclosures there as well. One final thing, and you brought it up, and it was chilling. You said that they've destroyed the documents, and you're just talking about COVID documents. So do we have any hope of ever getting like a proper Epstein document dump? Is there like actual hope here of getting any true documents that are related to events of September 11th or JFK, or have those things been so black boxed and so decimated that we'll never know the real truth?
Well, again, just like we have thousands of recordings versus one Zapruder film, it's not just the sender that has a record of email communications, for example. So, I mean, the Dr. Morin's email, we didn't get that from the agencies. We got that from a university that email was sent to. So there's a lot of people, we gather information from all kinds of different sources, and we cross-reference, when we're asking for certain communications. If we get it from one party outside the government and we don't get it from people within the government, that's how we have evidence that they're either covering something up or they've already tried to destroy evidence. But again, in today's electronic world, it's hard to destroy, particularly electronic evidence.
But they're still doing it. But you were able to find cases of them doing it.
Yeah, well, again, my guess is they are. And again, the fact that there's nothing responsive to our subpoena absolutely destroyed evidence that we had sent letters of, preservation of record letters to repeatedly to the agencies not to destroy this evidence.
And I know that we're up against a hard out. Just one final question, since you brought it up. What would you like to know about September 11th, the official story there, Senator?
Well, let's start with Building 7. Again, I don't know that you can find structural engineers other than the ones that had the corrupt investigation inside NIST that would say that thing didn't come down in any other way than a controlled demolition. I mean, you just look at that. You talk about molten steel. Again, you listen to the documentary Bravo 7. There's an awful lot of questions. Who ordered the removal and then destruction of all that evidence? Totally contrary to any other firefighting investigation procedures. I mean, who ordered that? Who was in charge? I think there's some basic information. Where's all the documentation from the NIST investigation? There are a host of questions that I want, and I will be asking, quite honestly, now that my eyes have been opened up. I've talked to former Congressman Kurt Weldon now. I will work with him to expose what he's willing to expose as well.
Wow. So we may actually see hearings about this.
I think so. And by the way, this was opened up when my ranking member now, when he was chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee Investigation, he did the investigation on the PGA and Live Golf and the PIF. Part of that is we had 9/11 families coming forward and saying, we want the FBI files unredacted. We want those made available in terms of what happened. What did the FBI know had happened? So we got engaged with that on a bipartisan basis. We want to get those answers, those documents for the families. Again, we didn't get squat from the FBI. So hopefully now, with this administration, I think President Trump should have some interest, being a New Yorker himself, what actually happened in 9/11? What do we know? What is being covered up? My guess is there's an awful lot being covered up in terms of what the American government knows about 9/11.
Wow, including who let the hijackers into the country, which was John Brennan, station chief in Doha. Why would he do that? And why would you let him take flight lessons? There's so many things that don't make absolutely no sense at all when you actually look at the government's own documentation. This is from Guantanamo Bay. And then to your last point, and then let's please put up the senator's X account here. Everybody follow Ron Johnson. This is bombshell stuff. But yeah, President Trump on the morning of September 11th saying there's no way those buildings came down by themselves. They're the strongest buildings in all of New York. There's no way they came down that way. This is President Trump's own words. And it matches the words of the firefighters who were in the building, many of them who've perished. So we owe them, at the very least, these guys gave their lives. We owe them the chance to get absolution here and the truth. Thank you, Senator, for fighting for those things. God bless you and Godspeed in your pursuit of the truth.
All right, well, it looks like there are not many people talking tonight. That's fine with me. Well, that's the case, as I am going to end the live stream. I'm going to go do what I need to go do. Because I'm not going to sit here and just look at a screen all night. I can watch all night. And you guys enjoy your night there.